You're just questing
My quiver and
backstab.
bow are ready.
Force him to have removal for it.
I don't even know if you need to backstab. I really... Like, 2-2 is the same thing as the other sizes right now. Because the only clear cards are Wrath and Swipe.
Well, he could Savage Roar.
Could Savage Roar. But if my opponent wants to Savage Roar that and I play Burglar into their 1-1...
Give me a quest.
I think it's
All right,
enough.
fair point. And the question is, does Jing swipe this? And I don't think you ever swipe this.
Or Savage Roar. I mean, either one of those is an acceptable form, but I just don't think you're going to win that way.
Yeah.
Now, the Whispering Woods on turn
quiver
5
and bow.
does offer a greater potential power spike with if it doesn't get Phantom Knives'd away, you have double Savage Roar. But I think if the Whispering Woods sticks, you're going to win the game anyway.
Enchanted, I'm
All right,
sure.
so let's think about it from Jing's perspective. So Bunny Hopper kept 2 cards in the mulligan, both of which he has not played. He drew the Evil Miscreant off the top on turn 1 and coined it out on turn 2. You don't keep that many cards in this matchup.
I think you're hoping it's another Miscreant.
You're hoping it's another Miscreant, but
It's not.
the benefit of this is that Jing knows that he's pretty likely to be able to swipe this next turn. Now, if Bunny Hopper is a true madman genius,
Enchanted, I'm sure.
he backstabs one of the wisps,
I'll just
then
sharpen my
Fan of
spear and
Knives,
I'm ready to go.
then plays a lackey to bring that questing up to 5 to put it out of range of swipe. Can still lackey plus backstab his lackey.
I think in Bunny Hopper's mind, if my opponent did not kill this Questing Adventurer, it's because they do not have Swipe.
I think if he backstabs that lackey, that questing adventurer never dies.
You're correct. If Bunny Hopper had played Backstab this turn, he would win this game. I think the Auctioneer draw may have kept him from using the Backstab.
The later this game goes, the bigger chance Bunny Hopper has of losing.
Correct.
As soon as a Forest Aid comes down, all bets are off. You're probably not coming back from that. If you haven't developed a large enough board, which this deck does not do very well. He's played the one questing that he has in his deck. The only other real pressure cards that he has are Hench Clan Burglars and Edwin Van Cleef. That's it. I'm backstabbing something.
I'm Rizrak. Don't touch me.
Pretty easy Burglar turn, I'd say.
I did it.
Ooh, Baited Arrow. Ooh. Well, I'm taking that.
Too fast for
Maybe the Frostbolt is marriage just for damage from hand potential?
The way his hand is panning out, I don't know about that.
I think it's actually quite reasonable and quite good.
He doesn't have much damage from hand at the moment.
Second swipe here, though. I mean, Bunny Hopper's accounting for this board to stick for a while.
Enchanted,
So
I'm
second
sure.
swipe and Hero Power cleans up the rest of this board.
Look at his. Oh my goodness.
Well, his turn 7 features Landscape and Blessing of the Landscaping,
Squirrel.
Squirrel, Blessing of the Ancients.
Yeah.
So something starts to happen there.
And then he gets to follow that up with Blessing of the Ancients, Blessing of the Ancients.
Yeah, this is very possible for Jing to get back into this one. If Bunny Hopper just has a couple dead draws in a row here,
He has seen both swipes, so he can just play a Gadgetzan Auctioneer, and the only thing that kills it is the
Wrath.
The Wrath. So there's 2 copies.
yeah, or a combination of some other cards. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty unlikely the Auctioneer dies in that spot. Oh boy, and now you can tell Bunny Hopper is in a spot where he's not feeling the most comfortable. He's like, wow, really both of my boards got cleared? I didn't expect that.
Dr. Blinker.
my quiver and bow are ready.
I like the Auctioneer play, though. It puts another test to Jing. However, the timing of the Auctioneer may be a little bit awkward. Jing is going into 7 mana, and so if they're going to Wrath, what are they going to do on 7 mana?
Yeah. I think maybe just Hedge Clan Burglar and get in a dagger. Next turn, you can follow up with backstab, something he develops, Evil Miscreant, clean up the board with your spells.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But Bunny Hopper is just, I think, doing the possibilities. Like, could my opponent have just wrathed instead of swiping at any point? Could they have done anything else? Is buying this time on the turn and going into Burglar and Miscreant enough? War Druid Lodi.
Forgot about the War Druid Lodi. That deals with it pretty darn well. He also gets to put some development behind it.
Power takes many.
I'm actually curious if you want to put development behind it. I guess because your draws could be so good. If you draw Forest Sage, you're going to really having regret not played this.
Yeah.
In the service of Salamene.
And the fact that Jing plays the Squirrel, I think, masks a lot of that hand. The fact that he's willing to just give up the 1/1 in the face of a dagger up. Bunny Hopper's in trouble now, I think.
I don't know. He picks apart this board very easily. And then Jing has literally no development.
Jing has development draws, though. Bunny Hopper does not.
It's a 1 in 10 to draw Forest Aid.
What does Bunny Hopper draw that's good right now? A
Well-
Togwaggle, an Auctioneer, that's it.
Yeah, but the thing is, he has Leroy, he has Eviscerate. If he sticks just one minion, he's just like a shadow step away from winning the game.
That's a true story. I mean,
And Jing, Whispering Woods is not very much development. Forest Aid is basically the only card in his deck that gives him substantial development.
Time for target practice.
And that's a 1 in 10.
Choose soon.
oh boy. Oh boy.
Not the Miscreant.
I want the Miscreant alive. Shadow Step. You said it yourself.
Yeah, but Shadow Step. Well, you get to double Twin Spell this.
Yeah, well, the problem is, look at Bunny Hopper's hand right now. He's going to start getting in damage and has double sap to just put 2 1/2 lifesteal minions back in your hand. Like Jing running into a turn. Evil Miscreant's good.
Oh, yeah?
The whole thing is summed up by
Enchanted,
the one
I'm
card
sure.
put 4 minions in play.
Oh, yeah?
That card is ridiculously good,
Now, sometimes it doesn't put 4 minions in play.
but sometimes it does.
Sometimes it just gives you Discover a Spell.
Oh yeah, that. Who wants to do that in Rogue?
And only 2 minions in play.
Ooh, darn. Yeah, I mean, what else? What can you do?
Yeah. Smart by Jing to play both the original Twin Spell version of these Blessing of the Ancients in case he draws Whispering Woods.
Yeah, the hand information to Bunny Hopper, I'd say, is close to irrelevant at this point.
Yeah.
But either way, this game is about to get blown out of the water. Bunny Hopper secured a board. He's got a way to eliminate this and develop behind it. That's enough to win games.
Yeah. I think Sap, Eviscerate, Edwin.
I think just sap Edwin. What else? There's nothing else in the deck to sap.
Sap Edwin does set up for lethal. So, yeah. Sap Edwin, you push 6 damage this turn.
Belligerent Gnome, there's a 1 taunt in the deck.
Yeah. So you put him down to 17. You have 12 damage on board plus
That's game.
a ton from hand.
I'm not seeing a single draw in Jing's deck that changes this.
Yeah. Token Druid's not going to get it done.
I mean, there's 13 from hand for Bunny with Leroy Eviscerate Frostbolt next turn.
Yeah. And he's likely to play a 6/6 Edwin this turn. With 6 damage. 6 damage.
6 damage remaining.
I just almost died.
Was it because of the Eviscerate usage? You're like, torture! What is he doing? That's kind of what I was thinking.
A bug just literally flew into my mouth. He said, "Shut up, TJ."
Draws Whispering Woods. But that is a lot of Damahe still in hand.
What shall we hunt?
He did.
My arrow.
Dead indeed, Bunny Hopper. 3 games to 2 over Jing is gonna move out of the bracket and on to the top 8.
Token Druid not able to get it done. Worked well for him in the first series that he played in this group. But Jing gonna have to fight his way through the
Summoner Mage and the mid-range Hunter and the Tempo Rogue, which was able to defeat Muzzy in his previous head-to-head, and quite possibly was.
In terms of how his lineup functions.
Yep, another deck that is having middling results, but we'll figure out what it actually means is Bomb Warrior. Bomb Warrior is a lot more of an even spread of matchups. You look at Control Warrior, the decks it beats, it absolutely crushes. It's not even close. So, however, some of the decks that it loses against also feels very polarized. Bomb Warrior feels like it gets right in the middle of that, and that's no different than Tempo Rogue matchup.
Yeah, we heard a lot of players talking about their decision to bring Bomb Warrior or Control Warrior. The Warrior was one of the most popular classes, second only, I believe, to Rogue. But there was a pretty significant split whether players were playing Control and or Bomb. So you can see most of the Control Warrior decks tomorrow. But the rationale behind playing the Bomb Warrior deck for a lot of players was, well, it may not be as powerful against Rogue in the matchups where it's really good. It is much, much better in the matchups where people are trying to target the Warrior decks. We saw, for instance, the Bomb Warrior deck take down Mid-Range Hunter earlier today. And that's one of the decks that people brought specifically to try and beat Warrior.
Yes. For better or for worse, it's had okay results. Can't really tell one thing just from a couple games, but overall, Hunter does tend to get that edge of the Warrior. And the Warrior has still been able to perform regardless. You look at, for example, Killing All Day's Bomb Warrior, it has a lot of rush minions, and just having that Town Crier makes things like this Henge Clan Thug very vulnerable to that Militia Commander that can come out and just ambush.
Yeah, Militia Commander is one of the real superstars in the Rogue matchup in particular for exactly this reason. There's not that many ways to just cleanly kill a Henge Clan Thug. And even on the coin here, Killing able to get that out in time to prevent that Thug from ever hitting his face.
Yep. But with the Waggle pick, there's no weapon removal in Killing All Day's deck, despite the fact that he knows that he's banning Warrior and going up against Rogue. But he won't really need it if he's able to set up good defense lines. He has a lot of removal, and he has that Zilliax ready to go. But most importantly, he has Dr. Boom Mad Genius. That card is the superstar of the deck. You're talking about, the Golden State Warriors of all-star teams. That is the MVP of the deck.
Sure.
I think Dr. Boom's more of like coach.
I'm ready to go.
So he's Steve Kerr?
Yeah, sure. Dude, I don't know basketball. I do know that
fair enough.
Was it the Spurs coach Popovich?
Yes.
He's supposed to be like the best coach, right?
I mean, he's one of the most respected, and probably one of the best coaches.
Yeah.
That being said, I totally know what you mean. Like, he's kind of the one directing everything.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the one that keeps the glue of the entire deck because it gives all your mechs rush. The hero powers are very versatile, and of course, just being able to have big tempos.
He's the one who has a master plan, much like Dr. Boom.
I feel like he's always improvising it though, because he says now would be a really good time for a master plan.
Well, every turn he gets a different button. You got to run a different play,
Yeah. Oh, so it's more like football.
Okay, that's fair.
Now, he has the Heist Baron Togwaggle, the new legendary minion that we've seen in action a few times. I really like it in Bunny Hopper's deck. What do you think about it putting it in these Pirate Tempo Rogues?
I think part of the idea of playing Togwaggle in a deck like this is that it gives you just a little bit more oomph, right? It gives you a little bit more power against a deck like Warrior, where maybe they have their Brawls and Warpaths, but they use those to kill your early game boards or mid game boards, and you have the ability to follow it up with Togwaggle to try and just give you one more big push to finish the game. I mean, a lot of times we see people picking, I think the most commonly picked treasure is the crown, whereas I think the best, highest win rate treasure is the wand. And the wand just giving you this extra sort of reload that is just super, both value and tempo, right? It's just so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the treasures, when you play like the dungeon run, years ago, you're thinking, wow, these cards would be really fun to play in standard because it's just really broken, right? That's what you were thinking about back then.
You used to get them off of like Mara the Fox. Right? You're like, ooh, I hope I get this. It's like, no, you just get what you want.
Right.
Whatever you want, it's yours.
And even though he's able to get that, though, Yang is not able to really set up anything on the board. This is part of what Warrior is able to do. Even if you're playing that bomb variant, you can still just play removal, right? And just exhaust your opponent of resources. And it's up to Yang to present a threat that'll force Killing All Day in a bad position. And he's also relatively safe leading into that Dr. Boom turn.
This guy's toast.
Just picks apart the Dino-Matic, sends 5 damage in, so no more armor for Killen. But yeah, as we mentioned, there is Dr. Boom.
Yeah, it's a relatively safe board to do it, too.
So, with 2 copies of Shield Slam in hand, he's going to go for it. With 2 copies of Shield Slam in hand, there's some argument to trying to preserve your armor up hero power or potentially use Dr. Boom plus a Shield Slam in the same turn. But Killen just wants to get that hero power rolling.
Yeah, I think what's important also is that any mech that he draws now will have that rush as well. So the hero power upgrade is certainly a nice quality of life adjustment. However, it's the fact that anything that he's able to play now can contest the board, and that's what makes Rogue's life super difficult. And this is why many people consider Ward to be the counter of Rogue, because they tried to set it up. However, usually what you can do is set up burst from hand. I don't think Yei's hand is telling that.
Well, I think one of the things we're seeing in Yei's hand right now is part of the reason not everyone's playing 2 saps. A lot of players cut sap entirely. Some players play 1 copy of sap.
Or Togwaggle.
And right now, we're seeing tempo Togwaggle. Is he going to swing with the weapon? Bounce one of them back?
Yeah, I mean, Yei recognizes that the situation is bad enough where he has to take action. And, now Killing All Day, his 3-mana 3/3, as people usually joke about Clockwork Goblin, is actually a pretty decent minion when it has Rush.
Yeah. I mean, Killing All Day can just use his hero power plus Goblin plus Shield Slam to clear this board if he wants.
Yeah, and pretty much can choose whatever.
There's a variety of ways, right? Can just fire off Warpath, as it appears he's doing, Warpath and hero power.
And I think from here, Yei's going to be really dependent on Myers the stable element.
Yes. Yeah, part of, I think, Killing All Day's specific decision here, and he finds a Blast Shield. The Clockwork Goblin is particularly powerful in combination with Ziliax to give you that 6-attack rush minion to gain life once your opponent actually gets into your health total.
There's a really funny and cheeky play that you can use to sap the whelps that go into your opponent's hands. Fill it up. I don't think it's very practical, but something that Yei has to find use of these saps, because when you sap a lot of the minions in this deck, they're going to have really good battle cry and rush effects. So a lot of times you don't want to sap Ziliax, you don't want to sap Dynamatics, definitely don't want to sap other really powerful things that shuffle bombs in your Myers and Staple Element.
Right.
So for a second, I'm like thinking, why not Leroy and sap these minions, fill up the hand? I guess he could just find other ways to get there, though.
And Wrench Caliber picked up.
Yeah, I mean, Killen even has an opportunity to go for a giant mech here. Can combine the Clockwork and the Ziliax. Does feel a little bit unnecessary, though, given that he's in a really good spot.
Yeah, and I think when you have Blast Shield, you want to use Blast Shield. Because, you only have a 25% chance to get Blast Shield on any given turn, and that's assuming you didn't just get Blast Shield the previous turn. Yeah,
Yep, I think it's fine.
I'm a little surprised he's going for the Ziliax here, honestly, because it is so powerful in combination with additional mech. And he does have the opportunity to potentially just like shield slam this down and get the Wrench Caliber online.
I think I like the Wrench Caliber Clockwork setup here because it also dumps hand for the Omega Assembly.
It's true.
That being said, I still think Killen's in a fantastic spot.
Yeah. There's absolutely, he's absolutely in a powerful position here, and yeah, we may see these saps just used as you mentioned.
Well, yeah, also dump the hand.
Right. With Myra's in hand, you want to empty as much as you can, and Ying recognizes, okay, well, I'm on a clock here. Raiding Party is a no-go. Does nothing once your deck is empty. Van Cleef can be powerful. But yeah, it's still a rough situation here. And oof, there's the bombs.
Yeah, so, I mean, Killen has this opportunity now by shuffling the bombs in, he guarantees it. And I think that's his hold for the previous turns.
Sure.
His previous turns like, okay, well, his only way to win this is to Myra, and if he plays the unstable element, I can shuffle bombs and guarantee 15, 20 damage over 2 turns.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. And here, he wants to use the shield slams for sure before his opponent starts burst damaging him. He knows there's a Leroy in the hand.
Right. I mean, this is extremely one-sided. Yang does not have 29 damage next turn.
There's a Hecklebot with no drawback. There's a Devastator.
It's even better.
Face me, you adult amateur.
I like it.
You adult amateur.
There's absolutely zero rush here, pun intended, for Killen all day to end the game.
Right.
But this overdraws, which is really annoying.
Right.
Yeah, this is the one downside of bomb effects. Same thing with Hakar's Mark or Corrupted Bloods, where if you have a full hand, it's an active.
All right, well, Miscreant is the hero, hopefully, for Ying here. Finds a Kobold and Faceless Lackey. There's a Prep Sap available.
Yeah, he's going for the biggest, thickest, fattest Van Cleef.
Blood and plunder.
This Van Cleef looks like it's a 12-12, which is fairly important to survive the Mega Devastator's attack. Oh, sorry, 14-14.
Even bigger.
But with the weapon plus the Mega Devastator itself, it's still enough. Just goes to show you just like the raw power of that card.
Yeah.
One card answers a 7-card combo.
Yeah, the Omega Devastator here, plus even just the microbots. Take out the pirate, take out the Van Cleef, send some bombs in. I mean, right now, Killen is trying to figure out, is there a way I die, right? Because there is Leroy Wagglepick.
Yeah.
So
is there a way he dies? Is there a way he lethals?
Like, I'm actually just looking. Yeah, is there a way to kill your opponent? Yeah, you can put what, 3 bombs in the decks. That's
right. And plus 2
15.
fatigue. So
wait, that's
18,
actually 15,
20.
16,
Close.
17, 18.
All right, if he attacks with the face weapon, he goes down to 19. Shuffles 3 bombs. It's not enough.
Yeah,
but this is still very good.
Pretty close to lethal when you kill your opponent's stuff, and you're at 25.
Okay, Hecklebot having rush, that's just not fair, man. That's cheap.
He heckles something, then just punches him in the face.
I know.
He starts the fight and gets to finish it.
Thinking if any Faceless Lackey shenanigans can come up huge here for Yang, but I'm blanking out.
I don't think there's anything that matters there from the Lackey.
Yeah.
I think he's going to bounce this Miscreant, perhaps with the Waggle pick, try to find something.
And he's guaranteed dead next turn because Killen has those bombs.
Right.
So there's nothing really that Yang can do in this position in the following turn. He has to win this turn, and we know that's not possible. Unless he's able to gain a bunch of life or stall out his opponent's ability to play those minions.
I'm trying to think of any possible 2 off the face. I can't think of anything meaningful.
I mean, there's ways you can, like, disrupt.
Right.
But it's not
like,
very substantial. Okay.
All right. Well, now if you find, like, a Ethereal Lackey into Cold Blood.
Right? Things like that.
Got some charge.
I mean, he's getting good stuff.
Yeah, he is, but it's still just not close to enough, right? Sending in 4 damage to the face.
I mean, it's an impressive push nonetheless. Imagine you play this all out. It's still 12-4 damage. He got Killen within single-digit range.
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
But bombs away. Here it comes.
Somebody order a bomb. Have I got a
And they had rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap it up. Killen all day going to crush Tempo Rogue with the Warrior. And this right here is on full display why Warrior is such a fearsome class for Rogue to go up against. One of the very few classes that can stand toe-to-toe very confidently with this class.
Yeah, Rogue was the class was probably the top of most players' mind coming in, but Warrior was not far behind. Those are the 2 classes that players really had their...
I've been here for so long, I think they lose all sense of time. I don't think
you have to set a
I
timestamp.
am
Have any idea?
extremely skeptical it took 3.5 hours.
It
But
did.
we'll go ahead and go into the VOD to look at it. In the meantime, let's focus on the present. We have Warlock up against Hunter. Zoo Warlock has definitely struggled a little bit today on stream. And, so much so that people like Hunter Ace use, trash talking Zoo a little bit. Not the players, just saying the quality of the deck. He's like, dude, I think Zoo's just not good. And I'm like, well, it's like consistent. It's like, yeah, people like it because it's consistent, but it's just not good. And I think obviously he's biased. He didn't bring Zoo Warlock. But what do you think about Zoo's performance?
Zoo, I think, seems pretty solid. Not this draw from Killing All Day, though. You're playing a deck that is essentially all one drops, and you do not have a turn one play. If anything, I think the deck that has underperformed so far in this event has been Hunter. Hunter has been a deck that a lot of players brought to this tournament that was not really necessarily expected by sort of the world at large, because it's not a deck you see a lot on ladder, and yet it's one of the most popular decks in this tournament. And a big part of that is that Hunter is a deck that is very strong against non-rogue decks, or at least is purported to be. However, I believe, I don't know the stats from the last match. I don't recall if there's a Hunter in that match. There definitely was. But going into that match, I believe the Hunter's record was like 2-6. It has just gotten demolished so far.
Yeah. And one of the players that's able to grab crucial victories is Yue against Muslim. And he's able to establish the scavenging hyenas with the Unleash the Hounds. And that is the real key linchpin of this entire matchup. How does Yue utilize Unleash the Hounds? Does Killing All Day have the ability to set up and be resilient against it? And you can see that Killen's already conceding the board. He's life tapping on turn 2. This ain't Handlock. This is Zoo Warlock, and he's going to have to figure out a way to utilize Grim Rally to do exactly that.
Right, and Yu Ying, he has all the tools that are extremely powerful in this match. He has the Scavenging Hyena, which Killen has got to be happy to see, given that he has the Henge Clan Hogseed in his hand, which has been quietly kind of an all-star for a number of decks in this format, giving you a minion that also doubles as removal.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Argent Horse Rider from the Grand Tournament. It was a 3-mana 2/1 charge minion that had Divine Shield. And it's not very imposing, but it had so much utility and usefulness. But at the same time, never felt broken, despite it being very good all the time.
That Hatchet is a very powerful draw for Yu Ying here. He does have it activated right now. He can use the Hatchet to chop down the Voidwalker along with the Lynx and clear off his board.
Yes. And the fact that the Hatchet has a lot of durability charges gives it so much usefulness against a deck like Zoo that plays minions around that health.
Ooh, he wants the damage. That could be dangerous against a Grim Rally deck.
Yeah, that's definitely something worth considering. It's not like, I guess maybe he's trying to tempt Killen to make the trade for him, and then if it doesn't, he has the opportunity to get, say, a Dire Frenzy and land it onto that.
Yeah, I suppose with Timberwolf Unleash in your hand, you think it's probably fine if your opponent has a mid-game small Grim Rally here.
It's true. And Killen with the Knife Juggler might extend exactly onto the board here. It doesn't seem very strong because of the threat of the Hatchet.
Right.
I am very afraid to try to full name that card because I feel like it's a tongue twister itself.
Head Hunter's Hatchet.
And I wonder if, like, I was going to say exactly this. I wonder if Killen, because he's considering how weak his Knife Juggler setup is against the Hatchet, will just opt to life tap instead.
Yep, he does.
And I think this actually is something that Yang was considering too. In the past, this is a matchup that's actually been around since the very beginning of Hearthstone. Mid-range Hunter versus a Zoo Warlock. And one thing that Hunter started doing was just clearing the Zoo Warlock's board, because the more they life tap, the stronger their hero power gets as well. So if you clear their board, it's almost like you're on a mini quest. The quest is clear your opponent's board, deal 2 damage to your opponent.
When both players are trying to kill the same player, deal the damage to the same player.
Yeah. If you're trying to do a challenge friend request, it is actually the most optimal way to do it. It's Warlock versus Hunter. You just get the quest done within like a minute.
Just with hero powers.
Yes. You actually have to, you can just concede at 15 health. You don't actually have to go down to 0. So it goes up really well. So once again, stuck in the same position. This is kind of the painful thing about losing the Voidwalker, but the difference is, Killing All Day now has that Grim Rally for that extra mana slot, gets that juggle, Some big moves making for Kill on Day. He's extending onto the board finally.
All right, we can come in for 6 damage here, and yeah, he actually does a couple of things here. 1, he gets the juggler out of range of the hatchet. 2, he actually consolidates his board a little bit, so Unleash is a bit weaker than if he had that full board. But the Unleash plus Timberwolf plus the weapon, I believe, can still just clear everything off, especially with Bestial.
Yeah, the Bestial Rat. That's the second time we'll see it today being utilized really well. Just one of those things where Shimmerfly, you don't really expect it to be that great, but it's got that whip spinner effect. Sometimes it just gives you that utility of having a beast on the board, and sometimes it just gives you the right card you need in that situation.
Sometimes all you need is a Core Hound, hit him in the face.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a Bestial Wrath to keep your hound alive.
Mark Shot does clear it.
Yeah, I think that from Ying's perspective,
Oh my goodness.
Master's Call, wow. That is a value card off of an Unleash, or rather off of a Mark Shot. Here, Ying, he's biding his time. The deck that Killing All Day is playing is very predicated on building up a big board. It's a Grim Rally deck, it's a Sea Giant deck, so there's going to be a lot of opportunities for him to use Unleash plus Timberwolf, and it doesn't feel like it needs to be right now.
Oh my goodness. So this is one thing that Killing All Day was specifically talking to us in the interviews.
Yes.
He's saying, why aren't more Zoo Warlock players just playing Bloodsail Corsairs to remove weapon charge? It's so good, and it kind of trades off 1 extra health from a Crystallizer with having amazing utility in a meta where weapons are very good.
Yes. I mean, most players were expecting Rogue, obviously. The Rogue decks with the Waggle Pick, where the tempo of 1 mana kill your Waggle Pick and bounce a minion to your hand is absolutely brutal. Also, I mean, here with the popularity of Hunter, the Headhunter's Hatchet. I was going to screw it up. What you were saying?
Yeah.
That's also quite powerful. Now, a little bit more resilience for this board.
Right. Now Yang is also stockpiling counterattack measures.
Right.
If a Sea Giant comes down, he has Unleash the Hounds, Timberwolf, and Kill Command. If there's 7 minions on the board, that's 19 damage? Oh, sorry, 17 damage? I guess if you hear power, it's 19. So it's one of those really scary things where Killon has to be sort of careful with how he extends if he doesn't have any taunt minions. But more importantly, can Yang get to that threatening range where not only is he answering the board, but also having that backup counterswing. And it feels like that's sort of what the best way to answer Zoo is. A lot of people, they just try to answer Zoo 1-for-1, but they're so good at being resilient on the board like Token Druid while putting on pressure that it feels like you have to do a commanding sweep of the board instead of just trading 2-for-1 every time.
Oh, there's a Hyena. So, Vicious Scale Hide, pick off first bite is Mekaru, perhaps, or combine with the Spring Paw, take something else down. Yeah, gonna take out. No, he's gonna go ahead and take down the entire body of that Blessed Corsair.
Yeah, that's actually a little bit more of an interesting trade because there is a lot of use for the Mekaru's bot for things like Evil Genius. So I guess they're still relatively the same thing, but now your opponent gets to hit with the 1/1 and then use an Evil Genius.
And this is an opportunity for the Sea Giant to come down, but Ying does have that Timberwolf plus Unleash.
But if you're Timberwolf Unleash trading, it's a good spot. They invest a lot of their mana to do not much development.
He does have the Scavenging Hyena.
Oh, the Hyena, though.
But he doesn't have the ability, he doesn't have enough in order to guarantee that he doesn't just leave as a Sea Giant. I'm trying to look at what Killen's turn looks like here, and then what does Ying's turn look like after? Because there is the Direwolf Alpha in the Sea Giant. Attack here, and then attack phase. This leaves 5 minions on board for Killen. Ying does have, if he unleashes, so Unleash plus the Timberwolf.
Yeah, plus the Scavenging plus the Lynx.
Well, is this, so there's no way to get that this is lethal damage, right?
It's not lethal,
yeah,
but
10 if you kill command.
We saw was it a 22 attack Scavenging Hyena with Yang against Fuzzy?
And the Beast of Wrath here too, coming in for another +2.
Love it.
Keeps him his board around.
He's playing so fast.
He is. Here I am trying to like math out, okay, what all happens here, and now everything's already dead.
Yeah, the one thing that you need to know is that Killing All Day needs to deal with that hyena stat. And he's got no way to do it.
That's a big fella.
Yeah, I'm looking at things in his deck that can help him in this position, and you know, without a magic carpet, even if he had a magic carpet, it wouldn't be enough right now.
We were talking about how Hunter had struggled, but it was Yuying with that big scouting hyena who was able to get the job done before, and it looks like he may be doing it again here. Kill command in the hand, plus that hyena in play. I think it's lights out next turn.
Yeah, I mean, in Killen's mind, if he plays Flimp, he's conceding the game. But if he doesn't play any minions, he's also in trouble. And that is the nature of the Unleash the Hounds Scavenging Hyena setup. And I gotta say that it's been so clutch for Yuying. It does make me feel like if you're going to account for decks like Zoo Warlock, the decks that are running one copy of Unleash the Hounds are going to struggle a little bit more.
All right, well, this does leave 15 on the board. Another Unleash if he wants it. But world record damage for Yuying available, but he gets the exact lethal here against Killen. We'll tie up the series 1-1.
All right, so the best of fives becomes the best of 3 with the quarterfinal spot on the line. Pretty quick one. And we're going to find out as we get close.
Call that gave him the hyena. And,
Exactly.
you know, compared to, say, Bunny Hopper's list. Bunny Hopper does play the 2 Dire Frenzies, only 1 Mark Shot.
No, you're absolutely right. And then it's one of those situations, if he didn't have that one copy of Unleash the Hounds, it was a different card, and he just drew that one, he'd be in a lot more desperate situation. So, you know, we can chalk it up to deck building victory, we can chalk it up to maybe Killen shouldn't play Zoo, but, you know, in the end, we only have the results to speak for themselves. Let's go into game number 3 immediately. Zoo Warlock versus a Tempo Rogue, where the Tempo Rogue, I mean, they do have the edge, but I feel like Zoo Warlock's been given it a lot of stress throughout the game.
Crucially, Yuying's version of Rogue here is in fact one that is not paying any respect to the threat of token decks. It does not have a single copy of Phantom Knives.
That's really weird to me because he's playing double Unleash the Hounds, but he has no Phantom Knives, which they functionally feel similar in terms of how you're going to round out a lineup.
Yeah, this is the deck we saw that struggled in game number 1 with those 2 copies of Sap with that High Spirit and Togwaggle.
Right.
You know, going in a bit of a different direction. It is interesting. You know, he is choosing to ban Rogue with this lineup, which I suppose does make sense if you're playing the sort of more anti-mid-range-ish version of Rogue yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if you Phantom Knives doesn't do anything against Warden, just put that out there.
Yeah.
A new moon.
It is just fairly interesting.
And this is you know, a powerful play from Killen. The Corsair coming down, it does make the Hench Clan Thug much less of a thug. Just the 3/3 if it comes down this turn. And that was a card Yuying kept in his hand, by the way. This was actually something that some of the players backstage were mentioning in his first match. Yuying kept a Hench Clan Thug against the Zoo deck. And some other players were criticizing that too, because if you don't have your backstabs, your SIs, that's a pretty weak card to sort of fight for the board.
Exactly.
And here we see, in particular against Killing All Day's deck with the 2 copies of Bloodstone Corsair, it is not looking good.
This looks like it's going to be a huge turn here for Killing All Day. Oh my
Abusive
goodness.
Sergeant into the egg, into a Voidwalker, into a Grim Rally. And this, by the way, is a list of Zoo that has 0 Phantom Knives. Not that Phantom Knives would be good enough here to kill all these 2/2s and 2/3 and 2/4, but he can't even running Phantom Knives with preparation.
Yeah. That being said, this prep rating party is
Always still good. Still good. It will give him the Waggle pick plus Dread Corsair.
Or times 2, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nope.
pick it
Just
up.
the 1.
It's actually a fairly big deal.
Yeah.
This spot. Had he been able to drop the double Dread Corsair, he answers the board completely.
Yeah. It's true.
Is that an abusive Sergeant off the top?
Flame it.
Flame it. It looks so close to him just getting a really good trade.
And this 3/3 is actually a pretty big deal because it does eat 2 of these.
Yep. That being said, Killen has the ability to have these lackeys make big plays. Faceless lackey goes wide.
Faceless really good.
like you mentioned, without the ability for fan knives to come into play, your Ying struggles with wide boards. I mean, Rogue already struggles with wide boards.
Ooh, interesting. So Crystals with Kangor here, does make the race you, kill you plan a lot tougher, right?
Yes.
It's going to gain a decent amount of life here, possibly for killing, just to be able to find any kind of buffs for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but this utility off the Waggle Pick to clear off the minion board, fantastic. And you can see the Waggle Pick in full effect as a defensive card.
Yeah.
Also good.
But, the Killen still has 27 life left. He's going to get 2 more from attacking with the Kangor here.
Nice.
Magic Carpet is the draw. He can attack and kill the SI with this Kobold Lackey.
I thought he had 1 extra mana crystal to be able to play both.
Just
Does not.
So 27 for Killen. Yu Ying has done well here at picking apart this board. Second Waggle Pick comes down. Will take out the Kangor here.
That Myers Unstable Element draw is massive, Kibler.
It is.
The fact that Yang, I mean, at one point, Killen, I think, was on the I'm going to outvalue you through the hero power, or sorry, out-resource you through the life tap hero power and grab the board. Oh, hold on a second.
Second Corsair drawn.
This game is going back and forth
It
like
really
crazy.
is. That Waggle Pick is gone. No chance to green skin it.
And now Yang is under significant pressure because he can't deal with this Magic Carpet without sap.
And this would have been so different here. It would have been a Waggle Pick in play, green skin for additional durability, plus Deadly Poison to even allow him to take out the Magic Carpet.
Yes.
But instead, is this going to have to be Leroy killing a carpet?
Oh man, that feels like a losing proposition because you're giving your opponent more minions on the board for Grim Rally, for a better Sea Giant, although you do have sap.
It does, but what's your plan? I mean, you could hero power green skin here, kill a 2/2, leave up